Hi, I'm Nick from Cairo Knife Fight. So I met Aaron in Wellington at a jam session at Good Luck Bar, which is managed by the former drummer from Weta, Bolly, and it was one of those big Wellington humongous jams that goes on till like 4 in the morning. And he borrowed a guitar pedal. He loves telling this story about, I loaned him a delay pedal, and I was new to Wellington. I was just hanging out, sitting on this at the bar, supping my one drink that I could afford, and nursing it for 4 hours. Then I got up to play at the end, and everyone was kind of exhausted and tired. And apparently, I turned around to Aaron and was like, "Come on, fucking play!" Like because he was kind of just, and apparently he looked at me and went, "Who is this dick?" He tells that story all the time. I don't even think it's true. But that's how he reckons that we met. And then when I moved to Christchurch, he was already there, living with his wife and his daughter, and that's how we met. And then from there we just kind of, I had a whole lot of songs and needed someone to play guitar on this record that we'd started to make, and he was the obvious choice, and yeah, the rest is history. When we released that first EP, it was a situation where we felt that we'd actually finally found the band, so that's why we self-titled it, even though there was this other stuff that had gone before. That was the time when we'd actually realised what the band should be and how it should have always been, and so the idea was to self-title it, and that's the beginning of the story of the band, really.
Was there any sort of temptation then to maybe like because it was in the beginning to actually rename the band or start again?
No, I don't know if you've ever named a band. You probably have at some point. It's awful experience. So no, I've done it once. That's enough. Staying with that name, and I think the name sort of even made more sense as the duo than it did as the bigger band. So there was least of my worries at the time with that. Yeah, I mean the experience of going from 6 people down to 2 was as traumatic as you could imagine. Looking back on it, I probably should have just had one big meeting with everyone and told them all at the same time, but I thought a far better option was to meet one-on-one over a period of days, just because it was such an enjoyable thing. Why not do it 4 times rather than just one? Telling people, no, actually, this is it's the end of the road now, and we're going to go on as this 2-piece. And the reactions from the rest of the band, they're all understood. They're all in a lot of bands and a lot of other things that they had going on in their lives, but everyone put a lot of work into it, so there was a bit of time to rebuild friendships and stuff. But I think everyone's good now. Yeah, the second EP was very different than the first one. The first one was recorded over a period of time, 2 days there, 2 days there, 2 days there, that kind of thing. This one was very much, we're going to do it over 10 days, it's going to be done, because the whole idea was not to do an album, it was to do an EP so we could have momentum, that we just keep going, doing the things that are working for us, playing live and releasing tracks here and there, but not being too worried about radio and that kind of thing. And we wrote 2 of the songs in the months leading up to the recording, and one a week before, and then we wrote the last one, which has actually turned out to be the first single, Origin of Slaves. We wrote that one in the studio, which was a new experience for us, reasonably traumatic, particularly for Aaron. He was kind of sitting and looking at his guitar going, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he'd been charged with writing the next section of the song. I don't know how I managed to get him to do that. I was like, I can't be bothered, you do it. And so he went in the studio, sat there and was like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. What are we going to do? And he finally he found something brilliant, as he always does. And that was the first thing we'd ever written like that in the studio. Well, we got the EP out next week on the 15th of August, and we're doing the Head Like a Hole tour through August and September. That's the next thing for us. And after that, we're reconnecting on our overall mission, which is to get back to America again to hopefully do the CMJ Festival, and then some other stuff around New York and LA, and just a continual kind of push to get ourselves some rather simple and honest goals over there, just trying to find some booking agents and things like that, just so we can be doing more gigs over there. Really, it's like a long-term plan for us. We've always had since the minute we started this duo. Was a bit like guerrilla warfare, really. Going to make use of what we are, which is small, so tour as much as we can, get in and out, and hit places and run. That's kind of our plan.
Why US and not Europe?
I don't know. I think we know a few more people in America. It's probably that I've spent quite a bit of time in Europe myself, and I haven't spent as much time in America. So it was kind of just, well, let's go that way. And everyone's going to Europe now. I was living in Berlin in 2005 before most of the New Zealanders arrived, and so it would be a very different place to be now than it was then. And I sort of think to myself that it seems to me that the things that are doing very well there are kind of from that school of New Zealand music that people really see a lot of, you know, Lady Six and Shapeshifter and that kind of thing, and we're obviously a very different kind of sound, so we just feel like the music, maybe in some sort of, maybe it's all in our heads, but it kind of seems to us that it's more American music than it is European music, and that's probably just a complete construct in our heads that we're projecting forth, but it feels like America suits it, you know. It's kind of a bit out there, it's basically broke, and it sort of feels a little bit more, you know, it feels a little bit dangerous the way we go about things, you know. We're always on the edge of falling apart financially and all that kind of stuff, because, you know, obviously we're not a commercial thing, so it feels like an appropriate place to go. This is our EP, it's out now, Get It In Your Hands, and we're on tour with Head Like a Hole through September and August and September this year, so come along and check it out. Thank you. Bye.